Welcome back to Twisted Builds and the S10 project. So people who have been a part of the channel for a while know this project from other videos I've done. This is, I'm starting back on it. I had a tow truck build I got done this summer. It's not completely done, but it's done enough. It runs and drives. And I also got my tow trailer done. Next up is getting the S10 going, and then all three of my project vehicles will be done, and I'll be done doing project vehicles. This is going to be it. So, recap on the S10 project. It is 89, 80, or 90. It's a first gen S10. I don't even remember what year this thing is. Doesn't really matter. It is a first gen S10, so square body S10. I bought it complete, and I have been doing a drift truck style build with the truck. So, the truck was red. I'll insert a photo here in the video, and I got it from a buddy of mine locally who he bought it and didn't realize how bad the rust was on it body wise. The frame wasn't that great either. So he got it and was driving it and didn't obviously it wouldn't pass inspection. I think the last time we have PA inspection, and last time it was it was valid, was back in 2019. I got it before that sticker expired, so I've had the truck for a little over 5 years now, going on to 6 years. So it has been a drawn out process. I haven't touched the truck in a couple of years just because of other stuff going on. Also other builds and stuff. So it's finally getting to it. I'm excited to get this thing going. So to recap, some of the people who are or subscribers of the channel probably know this truck because I have put a couple videos out there of me working on it. But this truck, as I said, is a square body S10. I frame swapped it. It was originally a 4-wheel drive truck. I ended up getting a 2-wheel drive complete S10, gutted it, completely disassembled it, robbed the frame from the 2-wheel drive S10, put the 4-wheel drive parts on the 2-wheel drive S10. Now you can see, anyone that knows S10s and the S10 platform will see that the 2-wheel drive front bumper mounts are still on this frame. I have the 4-wheel drive mounts. They are in the chassis. I'm going to have to just weld them onto it. Not a huge deal. If anyone's looking at the front of this, you can very well see the whole front suspension is completely custom, both sides. Is it perfect? No, it's DIY in my garage, but it's going to work great. It's been tape measured and everything, and angle checked and whatnot. It has custom, I designed the front spindles, so it's completely, I would say sheet metal, but it's thicker, obviously. Front spindles using Crown Victoria front wheel bearings. Custom made front upper and lower control arms with Heim ends. I can't remember, Uniball ends. Same stuff they use on trophy trucks and stuff for Baja 1000, off-road stuff, heavy duty stuff. Then, as I said, custom control arms I made that are all adjustable, and then it's got just coilovers on the front, both sides. This was done using measurements I figured out on a front end calculator to figure out roll center and everything, and it's all adjustable up and down for roll center height and all that, so I can adjust it as I need to because I don't know exactly where I want it. I've also changed some things on the truck since I've done that, so having it adjustable is going to be very handy to adjust the final driving characteristics. And that's the front of it. I cut the middle of the cross member out and tubed it. Originally, the motor was sitting a couple inches lower. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in this video, but that was the main reason I cut the front. I ended up going with, we are going with a 4-wheel drive steering arm and idler arm and drag link because it gets the pickup points where I need them so I don't have a bunch of bump steer. And I've got the tubing and everything to finish the front steering. I got the steering ends and parts and all that, so that will be coming, but first step is going to be the motor. But going over the rest of the truck, the interior, it has these seats in it just laying in it currently. I do not think I'll keep those seats. I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna find out. They're not the most comfortable things. I found some other seats I may end up going with. Thankfully, I got literally nothing in those seats at all. and then the rest of the cab, I redid the floors. Both sides have brand new floor pans, new rocker panels, new inner panels I had to custom make, new front cab mounts. I also cut out a rear section of the cab that was rusted out and re-welded that in. So, and I'm gonna have to like paint and stuff inside, but plans of the truck have changed a little bit. But regardless, then everyone kind of knows, ignore the intake that's on the back, but there is a 3-link suspension that's custom designed and made on the back of this thing, with a Ford Explorer 8.8 with super adjustable coilovers. I'll see if I can toss in some photos. And an adjustable Watts link setup in the rear to adjust roll center height at the back. I still need to put a sway bar in the rear. Still need to do a sway bar of the steering in the front, and then the suspension's done. So right now, the plan is I'm going to take the engine out and the trans out. I gotta get the body right now. I'll even take a video of it. Everything's on the suspension. So like, ta-da, right? I don't know if it's gonna show well on the camera, but everything's on the suspension on all 4 corners. Still, again, gotta finish the steering and sway bars front and rear. But the plan for the truck now is still to do a still do a drift truck. I've got the rear brake calipers all set up for 4 calipers in the rear, 2 for a handbrake, 2 for the main brake. Obviously, all the suspension set up. It's lowered. It's ready to go to become a drift truck. I got more steering angle at the front with the control arm and steering setup I've done. So that's all planned, right? But I'm also, the plan for this truck now is also to do Hot Rod Drag Week 2026 with it, or that's the goal. But I don't want to be one of those guys, and this isn't a knock to anyone, but after doing Hot Rod Drag Week 2025, I don't want to be with a coworker and his LS swap to Volvo. I don't want to be one of those guys that gets my truck running and driving like the week before Drag Week and then test it. I want to get this thing going this spring, early summer at the latest, so I can get some miles on it. If it needs anything, like if anything breaks or whatever, that's going to get addressed. Then also, like, that's also why like the interior things have changed. The seats are just because I'm a little bit of a bigger guy. They are smaller than I realized. I think I've got like $20 in those seats. So I'm not in them much at all. But my plan is to keep all the front dash, do a dash insert. I'm doing a Megasquirt 3 engine management system. And I'm keeping the HM290 transmission. It's like an MV3500, just an earlier version of it. But I was thinking when this was going to be an all-out drift truck build, I was going to do a custom dash. I don't think I'm going to do that, at least right now. I want to keep heat for defrost, because that was a thing definitely in the later drag and drive events. Those ones where you need to be able to defrost the windows and stuff is very handy. Having a radio for longer drives is going to be nice. So like, I've got the original instrument cluster that I've used for like 3D scanning tests. I'm probably going to end up making a custom insert for a dash for the MS3. I have everything to build one. I've built, like, a lot of the people that have watched my channel saw me do the Terminator X Max that computer was given to me because it's got physical issues. You can't use it in a car, but it's great for bench work. I have hooked that up back even before Holley released the public DBC information. I reverse engineered what they had and then built a dash for that. That 10-inch screen that I got, which was originally for this, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to fit. I may have to do something else. I may also just find one that's a cheap alternative to get it in it, because this has got to get running. So I'm tired of it. It's been 5 years sitting here in pieces, and I would like to get this done. All right, engine's out on a stand. I'm going to be, so to give you a little bit of backstory on this, I got this a while ago. I think I got this in 2018, 20, probably 2018, 2019. Actually, it might have been 2020. I got this thing at one of my old places of employment, and I'll just keep that to myself. But I was there, and I was doing work on an Escalade. I want to say it was 2010 something. I'm not sure. Regardless, so I was doing work on Escalade, and the Escalade came in for, it had the classic DoD lifter tick. And it also had a head gasket leak. I think it was on the back. Yeah, this shiny part back here. So back corner, it had a head gasket leak. Not a huge deal. I was like, I do all kinds of LS stuff all the time. I'll do lifters, see if it needs a cam, head gaskets, pretty much fix it, get back out of it, fix it for the customer. They had an aftermarket warranty. Put my estimate in, and the aftermarket warranty's like, we're gonna replace it. Like, all right, I could have fixed it, but whatever, you know. The aftermarket warranty company's paying the bill. That's what they're gonna get. I was like, all right, how much is the core? 6.2 liter all aluminum LS. I'm like, what's the core cost? Core's $300. I'm like, you're not getting your core back. So $300 later, this guy came home. 80,000 miles. I drove it in, ran fine. As I said, just had a light lifter tick. Knew that was gonna be a problem because I'm gonna DoD delete it, VVT delete it. Gonna put a different cam in it anyway. So going over what I'm doing to this, as I said, 6.2 liters, so larger bore. I got the LS9 head gaskets, which the smaller, like 5.3 stuff, 4.8, 5.3, I will get the actual head gaskets for those because you get more surface area for the head gasket to seat. Where if you put an LS9 head gasket on those motors, people have done it. It does technically work, but you have less clamp area. And because I put turbochargers or boost or nitrous to pretty much anything I build, or a mixture of them, I always like to get as much head gasket clamp as I can. And now I know the LS9 gasket may be a little bit larger on the bore than this one, but it's not significantly. If it's not exactly the same, I didn't look into it too much. I just knew I was going to be close. This is I gotta get this thing running by spring or early summer, and I got the gaskets coming. I've got a tow truck, a Silverado tow truck that I didn't document for the channel, but I just got done building it this summer. It was a 6-liter turbo LS deal with the sloppy best cam in it. And I love the way that cam works. The sloppy best cam, it's the domestic cam from Matt Happel, Sloppy Mechanics. That cam works great on the street. So I don't like to talk about things in stages by any means, but a lot of people sell things in stages, so whatever, right? So the sloppy best cam, going off duration and lift and like lobe separation angle, looks like it's kind of a mix between a sloppy stage, like the old sloppy stage 1 and sloppy stage 2 cams from Elgin, and that's how they sold them. That, or at least for sure, the sloppy stage 2, and the sloppy stage 2 has been copied around, and you got Chinese copies out there now and just whatever. So like, I wanted the domestically made cam, so I knew it was a good cam core, because again, this whole thing is going on Hot Rod Drag Week, so that is the plan. Now, with that being said, I wanted to get into this guy and set it up. So we got the sloppy best cam. I do have a set of brand new Elgin non-DoD lifters. It's actually, I bought the lifters for my Firebird because I was going to put a sloppy best cam in the Firebird. I have 2 of those cams now on the shelf. One is for the Firebird. Those lifters were going to be for the Firebird. Now they're going in this because I got to get this thing done. The Firebird runs and drives. Like, I was going to put new cams in, or new lifters in with the cam and new trays. But right now this has got to get done. I'll get another set of lifters at some point. But so new camshaft, new DoD lifters, new trays. Not reusing the old trays. I've seen a few of these where, even though this only had 80,000 miles and the trays are probably okay, the lifters can turn in their bore, and I don't want to get like the linked rockers. So just new set of trays from Elgin with the lifters, all brand new, ready to go. Got a new This one's gonna be a little bit odd because I'm doing an MS3 setup. So I'm actually, I got a cam and crank gear. It's sitting on my shelf. It is gonna be a 1X cam gear. The motor's 58X, but with the Mega Squirt 3, it did not care. So I verified this. So I'll be able to do the 58X, which is the 60 minus 2, and then the half moon cam gear. With that, have full sequential on this with Mega Squirt 3. And again, I'm deleting the VVT, deleting that cam. I actually have an LS9 cam on the shelf. That's a 1-bolt that I have not used. I got it in trading, horse trading, whatever. So not using it, but and it would have fit in this motor, but I like the way the sloppy best cam works. So definitely after using it. So I'm gonna put one of those in there, as I said. Head gaskets. I did end up getting a set of studs for this. I was gonna reuse the bolts. Had every intention of reusing the bolts. Have talked to a couple guys about this build that I respect, and they are like, pulling the threads out of the aluminum block is a possibility. Not with the fact of just reusing the bolts, just clamping down in general. It can happen. So I'm like, they were like, they put studs in all of theirs and they don't have to worry about it. I'm like, all right. So I had a couple of them recommend the genuine Speedmaster studs, which genuine Speedmaster, I know that's Chinese made, but they're not the cheap knockoff studs that you can find on marketplaces currently. Because like people, I'm sorry, if you're watching this video and you're buying a set of $35 head studs to put in an engine, you're doing something wrong. It was $100 for the head studs, but they're coming. They'll be here next week or two. This is the last thing I need. Already got valve springs. Again, there's so much knockoff stuff going around. So I ended up going to Summit Racing, got a set of Pack 12/8, genuine Pack 12/18s again. Not the cheap, like cheaper, obviously. I'm not going crazy on this, but like the genuine known good, because I used to, and I'll mention this now because I didn't post this anywhere. I used to use the Litani springs. Litani made the same, like literally it was the same specification valve spring as the Pack 12/18. The Pack 12/18 got sloppy tax because it got well known, and the Litani spring was dirt cheap. I used to use them. I should have stocked on them because they don't make them anymore. Litani stopped producing them. So yeah, there's that. So with that, I ended up getting a set of Pack 12/18s for this. So I'll have valve springs covered. And then my plan is as I said earlier in this video, I'm running an LS1 oil pan with the pickup tubes in the truck for it. This engine actually, 2022, we had a really bad flood here where I live. So the garage had, I would say, almost 2 feet of water in it, 1.5 feet. With how low the engine originally was, this plug was out, so it had water in it. Obviously drained all of it out, WD-40'd it. Should be okay. I'm going to do a health check when I get in it. I have rotated the motor every so often to make sure it doesn't get rusted in place. So it should be okay. My plan is to pop a piston out, probably cylinder, I'll probably do 7. I know those run hot on these. And check the gap, the ring gap. I'm planning on hitting this with some boost. So if the ring gap is okay on that one, it's going back together and staying as untouched as possible. If the gap is too tight, because this motor only did have 80,000 miles on it, had like 80, I must say like 82 or something whenever I pulled it. So yeah, if the ring gap's too little on that, I will pop them all out, gap them, pop them back together, retorque everything. Great thing about being a Senior Master 4 technician is I've had to buy all the fancy tools. So I have all the fancy tools, not here at home right now, but in a future video, you will see that. So regardless, I got the thing on the stand. I'm gonna pop the heads off and stuff. We'll do a quick little speed run on that. I'm sure everyone's seen a teardown of an LS on YouTube before, because this is like one of the most common engines to do this to. But this is gonna be the first one I videotaped. So anyway, I already got that valve cover off, and I think it's actually on that engine. So that was it. I've played some musical parts with things with my Silverado build. See how loud that is on the recording. And loosening all these rocker arms off. Little push rods out. I know everyone gets worried about, like, oh, you gotta have these in order and everything. Got 8-second cars out there that mix and match these. They're fine. Stuff I've helped work on. So, whatever. Next. Guess we can probably get the heads off. I'm going to clean, there's a little bit of corrosion in here. So we're gonna clean that up with a wire brush, and then that's gonna come undone. Don't get all excited about, oh my word, the intake ports are uncovered. Heads are coming off anyway. And honestly, I have a valve grinding machine in the basement, and I'm probably going to take all the valves out, clean the heads, and then do a valve job on this. We'll see. If the valves are all, some of the LS stuff I've worked on, the valves have been all pitted on, and the pitted stuff obviously is no good. So if they don't clean up, if it's like, if I can tell just by looking at them that they're not going to clean up by doing a simple valve job, or by valve job, I mean, they're not going to clean up doing a simple lapping, I'm going to get the valve grinder out and make sure I'm grinding everything to the correct angle and cinder. Don't mind me cleaning up. Probably gonna toss this cover in the parts washer anyway, but all the ports are shut now, right? So with that being said, there's a less of a chance that I'm gonna get anything actually in the motor. And I'm gonna be cleaning it anyway, so it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm sure there are professional engine builders that are gonna absolutely cringe at what I'm doing here. And I don't really care because I've got a lot of experience doing this. And DLS is a super forgiving platform, which is why everyone does this. Because I can understand people wanting to be like unique. I can understand that. I can absolutely understand people wanting to be unique. There have been things I've blazed my own trail with. Anyone that knows me knows decapped injectors was one of those things where I wasn't the first one to figure that out, but I'm walking out of camera frame. I'm sorry. I'm grabbing. This is gonna be handy when I get the new camera in. You guys can follow me around my garage, but till then, I'm rolling. Anyway, where was I going? Oh yeah, I blazed my own trail with like, and again, I wasn't the first one. Going back to decapped injectors, I wasn't the first one that decapped injector by any means. I was probably the first one to do it to LS though, because I was the one that kind of had the idea, because I was poor when I was building the Firebird and didn't have the money to buy injectors, and then I decapped one, sent it to Witch Hunter Performance, or Witch Hunter Fuel Injector Performance. I can't remember. I still use their calculators, which is sad. I should know this, but anyway, sent it there. Had it flow tested. Found out a decapped factory LS truck injector flowed. What was it? 60? I think it was 60 pounds of fuel, which gave me enough on pump 93, which is what all I could get my hands on at the time on that car. Give me enough fuel to run some boost and have some fun and do some burnouts. But so like, I'm not against blazing your own trail with different engine combinations. I've got a buddy that's going to be doing a 4200, which we haven't blazed that trail at all. That's been Calvin Nelson. Has figured all that out. We're going to copy him a little bit. But yeah, so it's not the fact this is the absolute easiest route. It's definitely very easy, but at the end of the day, you only live for so long, and the LS stuff's kind of tried and true. It just works. I should grab a blow gun for that, but whatever. All right, now we're gonna take the big head bolts off. Watch, I'm using my S10 as a workbench. But anyway, big head bolts. Get these guys off. I had every intention of reusing these head bolts, but as I said, after talking to a couple guys that I respect, I've done all the stuff I've done for the most part has been iron block. This is the first personal LS aluminum LS block I've built. I have been a part of others, but I've been a part of tuning others. That's the first one I've done personally, and the whole pulling the head bolt threads out of this block that I cannot replace for this kind of money that I have into it scares me a little bit. So, and I'm sure it's probably fine. There'll be people in the comments stating that they've done it and it's fine, I'm sure. But like for $100 and some for a head stud kit, it should be fine. I'm not going to be pushing this motor super hard anyway, because it's going to be reliable. It's only probably going to get 10 to 15 pounds of boost, which isn't realistically that much in the grand scheme of things. Like 15 pounds seems like nothing anymore. So, realistically, it'll be fine. With cheaper head studs. I'm gonna end up getting a billet wheel 78, 75 for it. And that's gonna be the turbo. And I'm putting it on the passenger side, but not sure where until I get the fenders and stuff in it. Because again, might be a pipe dream putting the intake and the alternator in underneath the factory hood, but I'm gonna try. And that's where the lowering the motor was gonna be ideal. Because the motor mounts where I had it was gonna be perfect. That's why the intake in the beginning of this video, the intake's laying on the back of the frame where I put the new cross members for things. It's because I was test fitting things. But all right. Out it go. Oh, that was a little in there. So don't make me grab the walkie. I will. I'll be back and grabbing the walkie. They're loose. They're just not coming out. For when you just don't care. I do have a thread chaser. I'm gonna run down all these. I bought the LS head bolt because this is like a special thread. I bought the chaser for them, so I'll chase all these. If you don't have it, eBay or Amazon, they have some good ones. Highly recommend it. If you're gonna do a bunch of LS stuff, makes for a much cleaner job when you can torque them correctly. Now, mind you, again, I'm putting studs in this. That's normally iron blocks, and we're using the bolts. But okay, let's not have an expensive part up here or tool up there. Try skin because it's stick. Come on. Stuck. Jeez. All right, I lost the dowel. Oh, there it is. Okay. The gasket is still stuck. My word. The gasket did not want to give. I guess I'll put that off. Ooh. Boys, I have flat tops. Boys and girls. Oh. Oh. Huh. I've had a harebrained idea that I don't know if I'm going to do now. I need to figure this out. So, my harebrained idea originally was to the Silverado build I put together. I did a 6-liter. I got it $400 core, I think. Motor wouldn't rotate, and I knew that buying it. Like I wasn't getting ripped off. I knew buying the thing that I was getting a motor that didn't rotate over, and I got it apart and found out that it was a reman, and I don't know if it was Jasper or GM or who remanufactured it. It doesn't really matter. I've been noticing if you get remanufactured cylinder heads, don't. At least not from like the big warehouses. I'm not trying to call out Jegs or GM or whatever, but I loosened these already. I've been noticing definitely a lot back when I did more independent shop work that the manufacturers didn't do the valve seats correctly on them. So there was a bunch of them where they would get remanufactured with new valve seats put in them. Valve seat would drop, valve would drop, or valve seat would drop and valve couldn't shut. Piston came up and had nowhere to go, and bad things happened, right? So that motor was also punched 40 over. So that 6-liter is actually a 6.2. And I had a set of 5.3 heads from an old engine I had that I ended up, one of the engines for the Firebird ended up getting wounded because me being dumb thought it'd be a good idea to raise the rev limiter to a pretty high number. And I spun it to that pretty high number because I am known for doing burnouts off the limiter. into third. So, with all the wheel speed, I used the brakes to initiate, let off the brakes, and just let her eat. But with that being said, I need to grab that now before I lose it. With that being said, I guess both of them are gonna go back in the block eventually. Yeah, I'll just put that in here for now. That way I don't lose it. I hurt the motor. I spun a rod bearing. I think a lot of it was the fact that it was on that homemade cut oil pan, and I don't think I had the pickup tube to oil pan clearance correct, and it ended up not probably having oil starvation issues, and that's why it killed itself. Come on, give me the head gasket. Here, head. That'll work. So anyway, long story. I took the heads because the heads were fine, and they had valve spring. They had the tuning valve springs in them I was talking about earlier, and took the heads off and got the 862 heads, 4853 heads on my 6.2 liter, or started out as a 6 liter, but again, bored 40 over. So my 6.2 liter in my Silverado to bump the compression up. The pistons I got because again, valve seat dropped, valve dropped, hit things, hurt head, hurt piston. Piston was cracked, thankfully the piston wall was okay. I ended up getting, I wanted to get flat tops like this, but I ended up getting dish pistons because it's what I could get my hands on. I was trying to get the thing together. So I could get my hands on those, I got those. So it's actually got dish pistons, not flat tops in it. And it comes out to about 11:1. If I put 862s on this, of which those aren't 862s, those are actually the junk heads off the 6 liter. But I got a set of 862s I could clean up. I just gotta see if it's worth it, because I know the, what heads are these? Of course, they're both the wrong way. 823s. I gotta look up and see. These are the square port heads, 823s, of which I have the intake for. I may just put those heads back on. I may clean them up, put valve springs in them, because I know they have a larger valve, definitely on the intake, than the 862 heads do. I mean, they have a pretty large valve. But with that being said, for what I do, compression normally is better than airflow. Like, you can't choke the motor, right? But normally, and I believe Richard Holdner's videos have proved this as well, like, you can take a little bit of a hit on airflow if you bring your compression up, because I'm also adding boost, and that kind of takes care of the airflow. So doesn't say it, not to say it takes care of all the airflow, because it doesn't, but it takes care of a lot of it. All right, I'm gonna grab another tool that I don't have over here, and then we're gonna take the valley cover off, and I need my 10 as well to get these are the trays and DOD out. It was definitely a DOD motor. All right, I'm excited. As I said, right now I'm using the camera you're watching this on to do this, but I think first-person view hat camera is gonna be awesome. So these are actually loose enough. I think the snap-on guy could have done it, but the snap-on guy was showing me a battery going low, so I'm just gonna loosen all these up quick. And start trucking up parts. A lot of this stuff, like the push rods and the rockers, are obviously getting reused, but I'm not reusing these trays. I don't know if I could even reuse these trays, being that they're DOD. This is the first DOD swap I've ever done. And I've already got trays, so it doesn't, I'm just putting the new trays on it. I'm not messing around. All right. But I do need that. You need the bolts. I guess I can put these sockets in. come out too. And they are, again, if anyone was wondering, I don't know if you can see that, DOD has a spring on it. So DOD for durability is bad. So trying to keep things separated, the stuff I don't need, the stuff I actually need. So, because again, I'm not putting this together with a DOD motor. It's just not happening. DOD lifters again. I believe one of these, I don't know how to check. Again, this is the first DOD motor I've been in. I quoted this to fix it, and then they replaced it, which is why I have it. I don't know how to check one of these for a collapsed lifter. These all look up. Because it did have lifter noise. Hopefully that's all it was. I'm sure it was. I mean, I stethoscoped it. It was on top of the motor. Alright. Oh, dude. Apparently the DOD lifters just stick in the trays. The trays do look different for the DOD motors because they also have, if you haven't done it like me, they have a little, can you see that? The lighting's terrible in here, I apologize. Okay, I can't wait for that other camera. But they have like a little guide right here, and you can see it. See this guide mark on the tray? And see there's no guide mark here? That guide mark's for that guy. I'm guessing to keep everything even. Not sure. Or maybe it's just that way you know which way they go. I don't know, whatever. I'm not using them anyway. In they go. I did get some of the guys on the Sloppy Facebook page. If you're not on there, you should request to join and answer the questions. I'm one of the admins. I help with that group, and the ones that do not answer the questions do not get in. So if you want into the group, answer the questions. But with that being said, there are multiple guys in there that posted that they, ooh, that one's not good. Oh, it's getting a cam anyway. The roller's okay, but like the needle, and it's not side to side, it's like up and down. So that was probably my lifter noise. Actually, that's not a DOD lifter, which is weird. Whatever. Cam so far, from what I can see, is okay. I mean, when I just get it all the way out, I'll know for sure. I'll be back. I'm gonna grab some pliers, or you know what? While I talk to you guys, while you stare at my camera, again, I'm excited for the helmet cam. Pair wire cutters. I am being resourceful because a lot of times I bring tooling home from work to work on these, because I don't want to buy 2 sets of tools. I already buy enough in tools. Don't want to buy more. So, with that being said, I have some stuff at the house, but in my house garage. But I didn't plan on getting this far this weekend because I had other stuff going on. But we're here, so I'm gonna keep rolling. And I used wire cutters to get the lifters out because again, I'm not reusing these, so doesn't matter. Okay, lifters are out. Trays are out. Heads are off. Head gaskets are off. I've got to get the one dowel's in the box, the other dowel's in the head. I need to get those back in here. I actually may pull those dowels out and clean, like razor blade, clean the deck. You don't, please, if you are watching this, A, thank you. B, do not ever take a whiz wheel to an aluminum block or heads. It's annoying. Don't do it. Oil pan surface, front cover, stuff like that, rear cover, whatever. As long as you're light. I prefer a light wire wheel. They make wire wheels that have like come out at the end instead of the side. Those ones work pretty good. Just be light with them. But no, don't ever do that to head gasket surface, either on the deck or on the block, or the head or the deck. So all these get reused because they're in the cupboard. Front cover I'm reusing. Okay. Ta-da. Now I'm actually not completely deleting this. I am going to get rid of, I think I can unbolt this guy, but I'm not getting rid of the entire thing. I'm actually just going to plug these ports off and cinder, because I've been warned that the cheaper covers leak, like externally, like here. I don't care if they leak here because I actually got the bearing I was talking about, which is right here. I'm going to cut the cage off that bearing and use the needles wide spot up and then hammer them in. That'll delete the DOD. And then this will also hold the tops in, so that should be fine. But I may get rid of the solenoid pack. Just it looks like I can probably just unbolt it, and then it won't be there. Because again, I won't be using it. And all the ports will be oiled, so there's going to be no pressurized oil up here. So that should be fine. Okay. Just set that upside down. I can't break it because of that one plastic. I'm going to use that plastic piece. All right, I guess I can rotate things, and I will work on the front cover. Get the front cover off. I probably need to get that out of there. Where's I'll put that back in when I have to rotate it, but right now it's off. And again, I haven't had one of these apart yet either, so should I have watched a YouTube video? Yeah, probably. Should I have looked at the instructions I have access to at home? Probably. Am I going to? No. Oh, yeah, I do have the phone. Guess I'll take the oil pan off. The oil pan was only on there for test fitting purposes. Brand new pan, I'm gonna have to clean up. Some of it was the leftover oil residue, some of it was the flood, but it actually looks really good. I'm surprised. So, oh yeah, we're fine. Cool. Okay, makes me feel way better. All right. I haven't had the pan, like I've had the drain plugs off, both of them, like the lower one and the mid one. And I did have water come out of it that day, or the next day after the flood. But I haven't looked in the motor since then. I WD-40'd it and I did what I could, but does this just come off? Oh, yes it does. Okay. Oh, it's just a button. We do the same thing with Ford stuff. I didn't know it was like that. Okay. Cool. It's just a little button. So those of you who are probably smarter than me and actually watch a YouTube video on how this works, there's a little 2-wire deal right here that's pulse width modulated, so it's on the cover. And there's power, 5 volt, 12 volt. I'm not totally sure. I'd have to look at a wiring diagram. And pulse width modulated ground. That guy pushes out a pin right in the middle. I don't know if you can. The lighting is terrible in this garage. You can kind of see it right there. Like it's right in the middle. That's a plunger that comes out with it pulse width modulated. That hits this plunger right here. I don't know if you can see that. Goes in and out. And that in and out changes the oiling in there to advance or retard the timing. Also has a timing chain tensioner setup that is 100% getting deleted because I've got the tighter timing chain. I actually got it for a 3rd gen motor. It should fit this 4th gen motor with the 3rd gen cam. And the one, this also had the 4X, which I knew was a 58X 4X setup. That has a 4X trigger. I didn't think about it though. Yeah, that sensor's different. I may end up having to get I may end up having to get a camshaft position sensor. Sorry, I'm out of frame. But I may have to get a camshaft position sensor. I was hoping this one would work. I think that is way bigger than the hole I have, so that's not a huge deal. I can get another one. Okay. Oil pump. Sweet. I know that oil pump's perfectly fine because it was fine when I pulled it out. It had good oil pressure. And I imagine a DOD pump's gonna have more volume. DOD and VVT. I'm deleting the VVT and the DOD. So in theory, it should be more volume. In practice, if I'm wrong, comment on the video below. Okay, let's see. And outlift the timing chain. Actually, I haven't had to pull one of these yet. I don't know if I can do it this way or not, but I'm going to. Okay. Actually, that's behind it, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll work on the cam gear. Haven't had to do one of these yet. Yeah, it's behind the cam gear. Okay, I guess I'll take the cam gear out. Alright. Cool. Well, that was easy. That is a weird bolt. Again, I'm sure everyone on YouTube's probably done this. This is my first time. But like, that's a very weird cam bolt. And it's got you can see the oil passages in the bolt. I'm sorry, the lighting's terrible in here, but I'll take my word for it. Okay. Cam gear off. This stuff's not getting reused. So this can go in here. Because I have a new... Oh, yeah, I've got this. Okay. So I was thinking I got a at-home set of Torx, so I'm good there. Timing chain draw air tensioners going away because that was dumb. That's just like make the timing chain the right length. I'm sure it's probably gas mileage or something, or VVT maybe related, but this is just kind of dumb. I don't have a cam or a gear puller. I'm going to need to grab one of those from work to get that gear off because I got the new drive gear for the new chain. So I'll have to grab one of those from work to pull that off. And then I've also got I got the harmonic balancer, and so I have the proper tool for installing the balancer. So that will also come. That gasket's getting replaced. I got a cheapy gasket set that I found if you get the cheap eBay gasket sets for an LS, put thin layer of RTV on the gasket and it'll work just fine. Very thin layer. Don't go crazy. Just a little thin layer will be fine. I'm gonna grab the tool I need to get the cam plate off. I even got myself a fancy set. It's Harbor Freight set, but it works for home. I would never use this at work because there is a quality difference. I do not care what anyone says when you're doing this over and over and over again, which you can wear out like the ends of the tool. But at home, where this is literally the first time I've used this socket and you don't use them that often, they are fine. And a lot of people get that stuck up on that where like, oh, you don't need all the expensive tooling. Well, the problem is like at work where I'm a Ford senior master, and you're using the tooling hard and you're relying on it to make money for a living, and you're using that tooling often, you will wear them out. And the steel that they use with Snap-on stuff, not everything, and I don't own everything Snap-on, but the bigger make tools, Snap-on, Matco, Mac, Cornwell, yeah, grab up on these. so I have to pick up some threads off and do that again. Anyway, it's the big name trucks. The tooling, the steel is different that they use on the tooling and lasts longer. I've actually personally witnessed this, so I know it's true. But at home, where I'm doing this for fun, right? I don't worry about getting the fancy stuff because I'm not going to wear it out. All right. Back in for my fancy cam bolt. Spin that doodad right back in and pop the cam out. I'm getting, yeah, that's probably plenty of threads. Then we're not going to look at our cam bearings because they're fine. Honestly, they're probably fine because the cam looks great. I'm still not going to look at them, but cam looks minty. Looks pristine. I mean, there might be a little bit on this guy, but honestly, I also think that's part of the VVT system where it's getting extra oil. So I'll look at them. Oh, yep, they look great. Whatever. I didn't look at them too closely. They're fine. Okay. I made it way further than I was expecting to, which is awesome. So this is going to be a good video. Hopefully, I mean, it's going to be longer, but I'm sure you guys and gals will enjoy it. I know I am so far. I'm going to really, as I said, I'm talking about a lot. I'm going to enjoy the other camera. Okay. So I need a handle. Handle required. Okay. Something else, if you guys aren't aware, and it's going to leak all over. Apparently still has some deck school on it from all these years. It's been 5 years. Okay. 58X crank. Perfect. I've already figured that. The windage tray won't fit with the LS pan. I remember that I was going to have to cut so much of it off. It made 0 sense to reuse it. So, and obviously there's no oil pickup tube because it's in the truck. I mentioned that earlier in the vid. This thing technically does have 2 knock sensors on the side, the OEM knock sensors. I could probably get a knock module and do it. I don't tune my stuff to go into knock. It's all on pump 93 or E85, and like I have E85 around here. It's gonna have a flex fuel sensor, and it's gonna neuter this thing when it goes on 93. So I don't really foresee needing knock sensors. If you're tuning factory stuff, I can understand. On like in your like knock limited on fuel, but E85 is magical, and I'm not caring. It'll be fine. I just won't. I'm very, very like conservative with my timing, and still like conservative with timing in the Silverado I have makes 600 to the tire on a whopping 10 pounds of boost. So, which is wild. I think a lot of that's due to compression. And I know it's like I scaled it locally. I paid, what was that, like 15 bucks I think it was to scale it. And once I got it scaled, then I took it for an 1/8 mile rip with my draggy and figured out that it makes 603 to the tire according to the calculator. Weight in mile an hour in the 1/8 mile. I was in 4-wheel drive because in 2-wheel drive all it does is spin. So I was in 4-wheel drive. Yay! It's the first time I've spun this thing in probably 3 years. Or no, a year. It wasn't even a year. I think time of recording is December 27th. Yeah, and I guess I probably rotated it in June. I was thinking last time I fiddled with this thing was back in 23, but except for rotating this, that's why the front crank bolt was in it. It's been along a little bit, but this thing still smells great. I really kind of don't want to pull I need to know what the timing's at, or not timing, I need to know what the ring gap's at. And the problem is I don't have my fuel gauges at home. I just thought about that. I'm gonna wait to do this. I'm gonna end the video here. So thank you for watching.